morning, everyone. How are you today? Our lesson today is about unfamiliar vocabulary. Our objective for today's lesson is my wonderful students will be able to use context clues to determine the meaning of unfamiliar words. Let me tell you first, what do you mean by unfamiliar words? These words, you can read them, but you don't know what they mean. I can say that these words are not in your vocabulary. Let's start with the first word. It is prohibited. Now, let's read the word in the sentence and look for context clues. The sign in the library says that shouting is prohibited. So, the sign in the library says that shouting is prohibited. I know that a library is a quiet place for reading books. I know that shouting means to talk really loud. Now, I can use what I know to make a good guess about the meaning of the unfamiliar word. Again, I know that talking loudly is not allowed in the library. So something that is prohibited must be something that we are not allowed to do. So, for example, sleeping late is prohibited, which means it is not allowed. Now, let's reread this sentence and see if our guess makes sense. The sign in the library says that shouting is not allowed. Does it make sense? What do you think? Great, yes, it makes sense. And you should always remember that if it doesn't make sense, don't continue the rest of the story because you won't understand it. Now, let's read the next word. It is pounced. Now, let's read the sentence and see what context clues can help us to guess the meaning of the word. The cat ran after the mouse and pounced on it. What do I know about other words in this sentence? Of course, we know the word cat and mouse. So, the cat ran after the mouse and pounced on it. I know that cats like to chase mice, right? And when they get close enough, they usually jump on top of them to catch them. Now, I can use what I know to make a good guess about the meaning of the unfamiliar word. So, I know that cats like to jump on top of mice to catch them. Now, pounce must mean to jump on top of something, as you see here on the picture. Let's now try to reread this sentence and see if our guess makes sense. The cat ran after the mouse and jumped on it. Does this make sense? Of course it does. So, you should always remember that when you are reading, you should, number one, read the whole sentence. Number two, you should use what you know about other words to get a clue. Number three, you should ask yourself, does it make sense? And number four, you should go back and reread. Now it's your turn. I will give you 3 questions. You have to answer them. After thinking about them, try to guess their meanings. And I will show you the answers in the next lesson. The first question that you should answer is, which defines the word imminent as used below? The train was moving too fast to stop on time, so a crash was imminent. You should choose one of these choices. Is it easy to avoid, impossible or unlikely, or about to happen? The second question is, which defines the word diminish as used below? Don't allow your strength to diminish, or you will drown in these waters. Number A, does this mean to lessen or become smaller? B, does it mean to increase or grow? Number C, does it mean to darken or reduce lighting? The last question that you should also think about is, which defines the word alacrity as used below? He knew the answer, so he raised his hand with alacrity. Does it mean eager and ready, or quiet and still, or shaky and nervous? Think about them and good luck.